The point of taking myself off the will, getting back to that, was, if Scientology were a thing, which I don't think Sky would present a problem if she were like a full blown Scientologist, but I just know how my family is, and I've seen how certain members of my family go after money.
The things that Brooke Hogan is saying about her father and the recent passing of her father are very concerning to me, and we have to dig into it. She is not holding back. Let's go. Okay, now before we could really get into Brooke Hogan is currently saying about her father, Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, who recently passed away on July 24th, 2025. Essentially, it was reported that Hulk Hogan died after suffering a cardiac arrest at his home in Clearwater, Florida on July 24th. Okay, emergency personnel had responded to a call at his residence and transported him to Morton Plant Hospital, where he was pronounced gone. The official cause of death was said to have been a heart attack. Okay, and he was 71 years old when he passed. Brooke recently has done a couple interviews. She did an interview with TMZ and other outlets where she basically opened up a little bit more about, her thoughts and her feelings about her father and the passing. She's publicly spoken out for so many reasons. Brooke Hogan essentially disclosed that there was a sudden leukemia diagnosis in contradiction with the recent health reports. I mean, Brooke has basically spoke out and said that she was around for a lot of surgeries as it pertains to her father. Brooke was present through many of her father's surgeries and regularly reviewed his blood work. She says prior panels were near perfect and remembered being told this blood is like a 25-year-old. Given that information, Brooke was very puzzled by how doctors could have missed a leukemia diagnosis until after his death. Another question that has been asked is why there hasn't been an autopsy performed. She stated, "It's weird that no autopsy was performed. What was the reason for the heart attack?" is the question that she has. She even called this omission BS. Now, Brooke has said, she's offered to pay post-mortem examinations for, her father. Of course, I guess that would all depend on what wife Sky Daily would want and those closest to him. I do wonder if she has any objections. Brooke again is willing to fully fund the autopsy to ensure clarity and preserve her father's dignity and legacy. However, Hulk's wife, Sky Daily, has stated that his body has not yet been cremated. This decision is being made while the family awaits answers regarding the medical care and cause of death. So we still don't have a whole lot of answers. Although on a surface level, authorities have found no evidence of foul play. Clearwater police have maintained that there are no signs of foul play or anything suspicious. Medical records list cause of death as heart attack. Pinellas County Forensic Science Center reported that he died from a heart attack with underlying and atrial fibrillation noted. Now, I think a lot of where Brooke's doubts are coming from stem from the abrupt leukemia diagnosis that she feels contradicts her experience watching her father's health and surgical prep, right? Her concerns about the lack of an autopsy have driven her to offer funding for one. Though authorities see no suspicious foul play and rule the death to have been natural, the family is postponing cremation while exploring lingering questions. This took Brooke by surprise, but I think one thing to note is that Brooke Hogan had been estranged from her father, and she had publicly disclosed a lot of turmoil that she had with her father. Brooke becoming estranged from her father wasn't just like a single event. It stemmed from a series of kind of private emotional events in her life. And a lot of it took a toll in her life, and she has publicly talked about it. She has talked about the fact that, she grew up with a lot of money, but there was always a lot of abuse, a lot of emotional, physical abuse that was experienced in her household with her mother, her brother, and her father, right? She's been very much open about that. However, even though she has been a bit estranged from her father, Brooke did take the opportunity in 2025 to relocate to Florida to be closer to Hulk Hogan. But it sounded like the estrangement was reciprocal. Like, it doesn't sound like Hulk had an interest in meeting Brooke's kids or anything like that. Like, it seemed like once the divorce happened and the separation happened between all of them, everybody was just kind of on their own way, right? Now, I will say this. There was some controversy that I think people have talked about since the death of Hulk Hogan, right? About the racial slurs that he made and where all of that stemmed from, right? Because I felt like people had talked about that on my chat when we broke the story about his death. So Hulk Hogan in 2015, he basically was facing some backlash over a 2007 recording captured him using multiple racial slurs, especially the N word during a private conversation. It was said that Brooke was dating a black man, and it doesn't look like Hulk was too happy about that. And he was caught in private recordings of him saying the N word. The recordings actually came from an S tape, an SEX tape, that was part of a lawsuit that he did against the site Gawker. In the audio, Hulk was discussing his daughter's dating life, and he just made these horrific derogatory remarks about black people and Brooke dating black people, and even admitting to maybe being a little racist, right? All of that became public through court transcripts, and it literally sparked a lot of outrage where he missed out on a lot of deals and everything. The WWE dismissed him for a minute, but they did bring him back in 2018. So it was only for a little while that he was gone from the WWE. I mean, it was said that his contract terminated and they removed all references from the website and merchandise and Hall of Fame listing. Hulk Hogan did issue a public apology saying that he was not racist, but he was in a very dark place at the time. In 2018, WWE did again reinstate him as the Hall of Fame, which drew mixed reactions. Like, how do you reinstate somebody, take something away? I don't know how that works, y'all. Literally, they can do things like that. Whatever, it's the WWE. Some fans and wrestlers felt like it was too soon and that his apology lacked sincerity. He did make a lot of apologies over his racial remarks. The interesting part, right, of how the racial slurs kind of got leaked. And when I'm like, how does this get leaked out of a court transcripts? Well, there was an S tape, okay, involving Hulk Hogan and a woman by the name of Heather Clem. And Heather Clem was the wife of Bubba the Love Sponge, okay, and this was Hulk's friend. In one part, Hulk began talking about his daughter's Brooke's dating life, expressing his frustration and using, racist language to express that frustration. Hulk repeated the N word multiple times. He complained about Brooke allegedly dating a black man, saying things like, "I mean, I'd rather she was with some N word who had 100 million, like a basketball player." He said he was a little racist. Again, Hulk admitted that he was a little racist to the extent and implied discomfort at the idea of Brooke dating a black man. This just gives you an idea a little bit of maybe what Brooke might have had to experience, right? That maybe her father wasn't in support of interracial um, dating or marriage or anything like that. Like he had a problem or something, y'all. Which was just insane to me because literally, like, what the heck? Anyways, so yeah, I believe that maybe a lot of emotional abuse, acceptance, all this other stuff might have triggered Brooke to kind of like separate herself. I mean, the girl was even working as a waitress. Like, she really craved some normalcy from like growing up in this, right? In this environment of the WWE, of Hulk Hogan, this personality. I mean, the mother sounds like she was pretty absent minded, didn't have the best relationship with her father, doesn't have the best relationship with their mother. It doesn't even seem like there's a really good relationship with her brother, right? Publicly, Brooke Hogan has spoken and said that she had experienced severe abuse from both parents. And she says, and I quote, "I have been extremely verbally and mentally abused since childhood," she wrote, adding that sadly it would frequently turn physical. She further elaborated, "I've received berating and vile text messages, verbal public reamings with unbelievable truthful words. I've been misinformed, manipulated, and lied to. And Brooke emphasized that the abuse came from her parents. She didn't say it was one, it was both, okay? But noted that it was not always from the one who one might assume, indicated that sometimes it involved unexpected dynamics, right? And so what does Linda do? Linda Hogan responds and basically says that that's not true, denies all the claims, okay? All the claims, and basically calls Brooke a narcissist and said that the reason why they're estranged, it really stems from a personality issue rather than mistreatment. Oh my goodness. But anyways, I mean, that just gives you an idea of the kind of parents that Brooke has had to deal with, right? So just recently, Brooke goes on TMZ, okay? And on TMZ, she really basically made an argument calling out the false and damaging rumors being spread about her father, specifically from people in her father's inner circle. The inner circle is speaking out against Brooke, saying that Brooke was ghosting her dad, okay? That she was returning gifts or that she skipped his funeral. Brooke basically said that this is like laughable, pathetic, and disgusting. She did threaten legal action on TMZ and basically said that whatever representative from the camp that continues to spew these lies, grab your best lawyers. I'm done with it. I am not to be played with. She made clear that she wanted the rumors and conflicts to stop and her father to be allowed to rest in peace. She also basically clarified that she is not, pursuing an inheritance from her father. Brooke emphasized that she has been financially independent since she was 18 and basically opted out of his will to avoid family drama over money. And I believe that this has already been like documented that she did opt out of his will, which I was like, oh girl, like, she didn't want to have anything to do with it. I think because she knows like that there's so much stuff that comes from that, right? Like having to deal with an inner circle, your father's inner circle specifically, right? Now, Brooke was absent from her dad's funeral. She confirmed this. She confirmed this on social media and TMZ. She chose to honor her father privately by bringing, her children to the beach because he hated the morbidity of funerals. She felt that a private, sentimental tribute was more authentic and meaningful. And I mean, it's just a really sad thing because I don't even think that Hogan ever met his grandchildren. Like that's how strained the relationship was. I mean, it's just really, really sad. But the thing about another thing that I have to tell you guys, and oh my goodness, like Brooke really broke this down and said she had a problem with Sky Daily and the Scientology situation. Brooke basically said on TMZ that she was concerned over Scientology ties. Okay, that Brooke said that she was initially supportive of her father and Sky Daily. Mind you, Sky Daily is very young. I mean, Sky Daily is 45. I mean, she's not in her 20s. She's 45, and Hulk was 70 years old. 25 some odd year, difference, right? As far as a time gap goes, right? So, I mean, let me know what you guys think about that. But Brooke said that she was initially very supportive of the relationship because Sky was super nice and her children were darlings. But things shifted when she learned that Sky allegedly remained in good standing with the Church of Scientology despite claiming to have left. Apparently Brooke warned her father. She consulted with a former FBI agent and she even talked to Mike Rinder about Scientology to better understand Scientology and potential influence. Brooke did tell her father, hey, don't marry Sky, because apparently her father had told her that, he didn't really want to marry again. Like this was gonna be it, right? Like he didn't want to do it again. So Brooke, urged him, don't marry Sky. She told him it would be okay for him to safely continue dating her, but caution, just don't get married, expressing unease over very powerful backing from the church. So Brooke Hogan, had a fear about Scientology. The fear of Scientology that Brooke has also motivated her to ask about the finances, okay? Ask about the estate. Ironically, these concerns also motivated her to ask her to be removed from his will. It's being reported that the fear and connection, I mean, and even though Brooke, it doesn't sound like she was on Hulk's will, right? The fact that Sky Daly was still in good standing with the Church of Scientology, that presented a fear for her, okay? In the sense of like finances as well. Like she fears about the estate. And I quote, Brooke says, money didn't matter. Take me off everything. It scares me. The last phone call Brooke had with her dad, she described a cryptic voicemail from her father before his wedding, where he said, I'm sorry for whatever I did. That ended up being the last time they spoke. Like, this is just so sad that all of this went down the way that it did. And the fact that like they're just now finding out about leukemia when Brooke was around, when he was getting surgeries and blood work, to have the blood work of a 25-year-old to suddenly pass away that he did. What happened? Was he being taken care of? Was he alone? What happened exactly? I mean, literally, it's a lot of questions. Now, how did Sky Daly respond to all of these concerns that Brooke has presented? Sky Daly has not given a detailed public rebuttal of anything of what Brooke Hogan is saying, especially on the Scientology stuff. But what we know so far is that Sky Daly has told people that she's a former Scientologist, not an active member. Brooke, however, said that she learned Sky was still in good standing with the church, which to her meant potential continued ties and influence, which I guess that's the question is, even if you're not a member, you're in good standing. I don't know how those two jive. It's been said that Sky Daly is in good standing with the Church of Scientology, but she's not a member. I feel like we're playing, weird word games here. What would it matter whether she is or she isn't in good standing with the Church of Scientology if she's not a member? Is there a legitimate concern for Hulk Hogan's estate if Sky Daly was in Scientology or is in good standing with the Church of Scientology? I mean, we know how they treat the elderly. Okay, it's been very well documented about the abuses of the elderly. So I have a lot of questions about this. What do you guys think in the chat? It sounds like Brooke has every reason to be concerned about where this money's going to go. Now she probably has no say because she's been taken off the will. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now I got some clarity about Sky Daly. Sky Daly was in the Sea Org. Sky Daly's family are Scientologists, okay? She is a second generation Scientologist. I mean, if I was Brooke, I would be very concerned about the final days of my dad's life. I would be wanting an investigation to happen. I would want all of that to happen, and for it to be independent. I would want to know where the money went. I would want to know all of that because is it possible that Brooke being distanced from her dad might have created Hulk Hogan to have become a target of any kind of financial exploitation of anything? Guys, like, that's just my opinion, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, as we know right now, there is no direct interview or in depth statement from Sky addressing Brooke's specific accusations. Most media mentions say that Sky either declined or to comment or basically let her friends defend her privately, insisting that she's no longer a Scientologist, okay? What we know so far is that Hulk Hogan did not publicly engage with Brooke's Scientology concerns. He proceeded to get married regardless of Brooke's warnings and concerns, okay? But Brooke Hogan is saying that her dad expressed a lot of doubts and even looked for a way out before the wedding. It's a really sad situation, I think, right? To be in a position where Brooke is at trying to make sense of everything, and piecing things together. I definitely support her stance in trying to find more answers about why is this sudden leukemia diagnosis that wasn't there before, and also like making amends with the unanswered questions that she might have, right? That the death of her father, but also maybe the unresolved trauma that she has had from just being in that family dynamic. I truly do wish that she gets answers, and she is somebody that is financially independent. She's public about it, and I love that she's very real about how independent she is, right? Regardless of what she's been offered through her childhood and life, that she's looking forward and I hope that she writes a book. I really do. I would be interested. But the other concern that I have too, and I think that it aligns with Brooke's concern. I don't ever really hear Scientologists publicly saying, I'm a Scientologist like that. It makes you wonder if Sky Daily was a Scientologist on the low and didn't really like publicly say it because, the reaction and the pushback that people might get. And so there's a lot of questions that I have about this. You guys let me know what your thoughts are about this situation. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Brooke will get more answers, or will she get completely shut out because it's being alleged that Sky Daily is in good standing with the Church of Scientology, and so they might actually ignore her request to look into this further? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.